you ready to MC this? Let me start off by personally apologizing. Here at the Roberto Clemente, just as we have experienced across the city, and I'm quite sure some of you may have encountered people with very sticky fingers. They've been stealing downspouts in the alleys, they've been stealing gates. We're right here at the Roberto Clemente Center, off our air conditions, where the copper pipe goes and enter into the building. A section like this, in which maybe 3 feet of copper pipe, in which maybe a person may get $2.50 for, they cause $2,000 worth of damage. Right now we're getting ready to put a brand new air conditioning system here in the Roberto Clemente Center because of that, but we're also getting built a heavy duty cage to put around it so that they cannot literally do what they've done. The housing department can also attest to the high theft rate that they had of people just still in that little section. So again, forgive me for the inconvenience, but with that short notice, we didn't want to change the venue because then people would have been inconvenienced then. So again, just endure with us, just be patient, but again, you will see the air conditioning unit being restored here. But I'm going to turn it over to Milton Reed, and we'll go ahead and get this presentation started. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. I want to thank everybody for coming out, and as the Mayor said, although it's a little warm, we do have some very, very valuable and relevant information. We've tried to tailor some of our information specifically to this district because we want it to be as relevant as possible. So what we plan to do, and you can see along the walls, you will see each department has a station more or less set up. And when we finish our meeting, just so you can keep this in your mind, is that the department directors who are sitting in front of us, they will all be going to their stations, and you can feel free to mill about and ask more specific details of anything you may hear right now. Another thing I'd like to just go ahead and we can go ahead and get started. Our first presentation is going to be from. I thought that was the reason. Okay. Well,
that was the personal apology.
Personal apology. Okay. Well, the first thing we're going to have is we want to have our mayor to give us some opening comments and remarks. So if you can, just give our mayor a hand.
Again, I wanted to start off with a personal apology for the air conditioning. But we're here today. I was told that there's no I in team, and you can see behind me is the department heads who serve you on a daily basis. I'm proud of the team that we've put together. Not only are they handsome and beautiful, they're also talented. When I first became your mayor in October of 2010, I was presented with a $15 million budget deficit. Those was hard times, had to make tough decisions, but I made them. And now I'm happy to report that the city has went from a $15 million budget deficit to being in the black. We were relying on $13 million of gaming to shore up our general fund. And salaries, now we use $0 of gaming. And this is why, when you look across and you see these boards and you drive around the city, you can look, just throw a rock and hit the park improvements out in front. You can see the roads being improved. You can see the new police cars. You can see the investment that we're making in the quality of life issues in the city, because we have literally went from being in a $15 million budget deficit to having $30 million of investment this year alone. That's a blessing. It is truly a blessing, but it all comes with having a good stewardship of the money. As you see the phases come in across the city, phase 1 in demolition, phase 2 in demolition, phase 3. When you see phase 1, 2, and 3 in the construction projects across this city, you will start seeing this city get better and better and better. But with no further ado, we're going to put the presentation. We're going to show you some of the projects that's coming, some of the ones that have been completed, And we're going to even show you, project on into 15, some of the projects that we will be doing. So I'm going to turn this over to Milton, and we'll get the presentation started. So once again, thank you very much.
Thank you, man. I want to also point out, just again, as you're thinking throughout the presentation, Olga, can you raise your hand? Olga is here as a resource, whereas, you know, we know there may be a lot that's said, and if you need Olga to jot something down, she will be taking minutes, or if they have something, a question or something specific that may be just too big of a scope to handle right here today, Olga is fully available, and then even after the presentation, Olga kind of mill around the room and solicit anything that we have. So with us moving forward, our first speaker tonight is going to be our Director of Public Works Department, Monsi Corzby.
Hello everyone, like Milton said, my name is Monsi Corzby and I represent Department of Public Works. In Public Works, we provide the most services to the city. We do your garbage collection, we do your street sweeping, we do your rubbish pickup, we do your graffiti removal. There's various services that we have, and at the end of this presentation, I will be at my station if anybody here has any comments or concerns or anything that can make our services better to you. One of my main things that I do want to introduce today is that we're working on moving forward on a different type of recycling program that we have. And it's going to turn over to a new can. We currently recycle with a little orange bin. What we found later last year, we introduced this new type of can to the city in certain areas, and it works well. What it does is it holds a larger volume, and it keeps everything inside of the can, versus for some of you that recycle more than others, you come to where maybe you have one day, you have the 2 out there, then you need a 3rd one and you're overflowing it, and 9 times out of 10 it just blows up everywhere. This here keeps it a little bit covered, and it'll hold it together. The top of the can, it's identified as a recycle only. We ask that you only place your recyclables in this can. We cannot accept any garbage in here. Once you put garbage in here, it's contaminated, and we do not receive the recognition for recycling within our city. As you can see, it's just like your regular garbage can, so it's a little bit easier. It allows you to roll it. And the reason why I'm saying that is because if you have an alley, this is where we're going to have you start putting it, is in the alley instead of in the front. Now, if you don't have an alley, you can still continue to put it in the front, but we're trying to make it easy access. One of the other things that we found by putting it into the other areas within the city, there's some elderly residents that this is too big for them. If that's the case, and you want to keep your old orange recycling bin, we'll have those handy. And if you're handicapped, you're disabled, you can't do it, we always accommodate. Some of you just leave them on your porch, and we do get them, and we have no problem still continuing to do that. Now, once you recycle, this is the procedure. This is what's going to happen. We're going to start implementing it the first week of September, and I think we're going to target within the 5th district here. The process and the change is going to be real easy. If you currently recycle now, what we're going to do is we're going to go through the areas, and anybody who has the orange bin out now, we have a crew that's going to go around. They're going to identify the address. They're going to jot your address down. The crew's going to come back to the facility, and we're going to put your address on the can. So then the following week, when you have your can out, when you have your bin out, they're going to take the bin, and all they're going to simply do is just replace it with this. So you don't have to come to get one, you don't have to call, because we're going to change it that way. Now, if for some reason we come through your area and we missed it, because sometimes the crews come out sooner than people putting them out, that's not a problem. It takes like two weeks before everybody gets it. Now, if you have a neighbor or if somebody inquires about it, all they have to do is call the office, 391-8464, and we will gladly provide you with a can. Once again, this is going to be our new program that we're going to be starting here in a few weeks. And after the meeting here, I'll be at my station for any comments or anything that anybody would like to ask me or talk to me about. Thank you. Yeah, one of the other things too is with the recycling program, we also are converting over our garbage cans. I don't know if some of you seen within your communities, we have the automated trucks. So what happens is, with the automated trucks, it allows us to hold some of the garbage juice. Now, I see one of my favorite people here that always calls me about the garbage juice because it is a problem, right? In your community, Kim? And she calls me, but when if that's happening now, with the garbage juice, all you gotta do is call us, and we do send a street sweeper. We try to do our best to clean it up. But the automated system, it's cleaner, it's safer, and it's faster. So if you start seeing that in your communities as well, that's what we're converting over to at the same time with changing over our recycling program. Thank you.
Thanks, Monty. Now we're going to have a video. And this is, it's not necessarily new, but this is the first one that we are really going to have in our area. And it's called a roundabout. And you know, I want everyone to watch this video, but I think the mayor can give a few talking points about this roundabout. He's very experienced. You want to run the video first? Just give a few talking points.
In 2 areas in the city of East Chicago, we're going to be introducing roundabouts. This one right here is going to be at Klein Avenue and Columbus Drive, and the next one is going to be at Riley and Dickey. If you go to the city of Valparaiso right now, they have 8 roundabouts. NDOT, the Indiana Department of Transportation, is encouraging progressive cities to move toward roundabouts, because when you put roundabouts in, it slows down traffic, it reduces the chance of accidents. Fatalities are reduced almost 75% from an accident inside a roundabout. There's no stop signs, there's no stop lights in a roundabout, so it's energy efficient. All of your cities are moving toward roundabouts. When you go down south in Indiana, you're seeing people put in roundabouts. So we are moving toward the future of where traffic is going in the city. And not only that, it looks better aesthetically. When we put this roundabout in at Columbus Drive, you're going to see that we're going to be able to put floral features around it. We're going to put sculptural components around it. So when you drive into our city and you exit off of Klein Avenue, you come into our city, that's a gateway. And sometimes people only get one impression of how your city looks. It's when they drive through it. And this is why every day I stress, my pet peeve is keeping the city clean. When the people get the total buy-in and they see that this city may be old, but this city can be clean. And when we start beautifying our gateways, it's going to say a lot about us when people come in our city and when people exit out of our city. So this short presentation is going to give you your first exposure. Plus, when we get closer to this project, it's a 4-month project. When they get closer to completing this project, we're going to have classes where the citizens can come. We're going to set up a mock roundabout before the roundabout is actually christened to start, and you can practice in the roundabout. So these are things coming to you soon, very soon. We're looking at starting this project about in 2 weeks. In about 2 weeks right now, if you go down Columbus Drive, you're seeing the signage where we're telling you the detour. But let me tell you, this is a $1.1 million project. This is what you can do with a balanced budget. When we went from a deficit to a surplus, this is what you can do. You can get park equipment. You can get new street improvement. And this is just another project coming to the city of East Chicago. So again, enjoy the presentation.
Driving roundabouts is actually pretty easy to get used to. You just need to follow a few simple rules. As you approach a modern roundabout, you'll see a roundabout ahead sign. As with any other intersection, you should watch for pedestrians and stop for them. The most basic rule in roundabouts is the idea of yielding. The traffic already in the roundabout has the right of way, and the entering traffic must yield. So as you approach, be sure to look left. Most roundabouts have signs in the center island guiding you in a counterclockwise direction. When an opening appears and it's safe to proceed, enter the roundabout. Once you're in the roundabout, keep your place in line. Don't pass. As you approach your exit, put on your right turn signal. Exit the roundabout, and again, look for pedestrians in the crosswalk. If you're in a roundabout when an emergency vehicle approaches, don't stop in the roundabout. Drive out of the circle and then pull over. Did you notice the raised apron in the middle of the roundabout? Some people see tire marks there and think the roundabout wasn't built big enough to handle large vehicles, but that's not the case. The apron is there just for the trucks and other large vehicles. It gives them the extra room they need, but the raised pavement discourages use by cars. What we've seen so far is a single-lane roundabout, but some roundabouts, fed by heavier volume roads, have more than one lane, both on the approach and in the circle itself. The rules we just covered for single-lane roundabouts still apply. However, in a multi-lane roundabout, just as with any multi-lane intersection, you also need to choose a lane as you approach, depending on where you want to go. Typically, use the right lane for a right turn, or to go straight ahead. You can use the left lane in 3 ways. You can use it to go straight ahead, or to make a left turn, or a U-turn. In any roundabout, be sure to follow the signs and markings.
Again, let me stress that I was on the fire department for 27 and a half years. I was on the rescue squad for 15. And we had a tool called the Jaws of Life. And I can tell you, I can raise up one hand and don't have enough fingers to put up the other hand on how many fatalities I went to this very intersection. And when we had head-on collisions there, almost every time we had to use the Jaws of Life to spread and literally peel the people out of there. This roundabout is going to make the speeds reduce to a level that even when you have an accident, it's going to be a fender bender. Almost on a high percentile chances when you have accidents. So again, will there be a learning curve? Yes, I remember the first time when I drove on Klein Avenue. I had a learning curve, but now I do it blindfolded. I do it backwards. You know, don't even think about it. So again, this is a project that we will be starting in 2 weeks.
Thank you. Okay, just to keep us moving, next we're going to have Marino Solario talk about our parks, improvements, and things that you've been seeing around the neighborhoods and our children have been enjoying. So Marino, why don't you give us your comments?
Thank you. I just want to start off by letting you know that I'm an East Chicago resident, and I was a 2003 high school graduate from Central High School, got an urban planning degree, and I was blessed that the mayor tapped me on the shoulder to do this project. It started off as a $300,000 project, looking at what we needed to do because the parks had, throughout the years, there was big disinvestment in the parks. The equipment was old. There was a lot of repairs that were taking up too much of money to do. So the $300,000 budget that I was given turned into now a $3 million project for the benefit of all the citizens here in East Chicago. Particularly speaking with Nunez Park, here next door, as you can see, there's new equipment there. I have never seen that many kids use that equipment in a long time. It's come to my attention, I was talking to Steve this morning, they want us to actually highlight our parks at a seminar for Indiana, regional, northern Indiana. In Michigan City, there's going to be a seminar, and they want us to present what we're doing here at the parks because they see that it's such a great initiative, and the money that we're spending is wisely being used. As you can see, there's 2 little construction areas. There's going to be shelters for you to be able to rent for picnics on Sundays. They will have their grills, they will have electrical outlets so that you can plug in for your radio, electric grill, whatever necessities that you need for that. You'll be able to rent that out through the park department. Also, there's, not necessarily here in this park, but you have fitness equipment that went in Washington Park, Todd Park, and currently is being constructed at Kosciuszko. The way that we worked that fitness equipment was everything is oriented to for the user to be looking at the playground equipment, so that there's no excuse anymore to say, well, I can't go to the park and work out because my kid is, you know, at the playground equipment over here. Now you're going to be able to work out and see your kid playing on the slide or on the swings and not have that excuse anymore, because I sure can use some of that fitness equipment. So we have that component. If you see Washington Park, Callahan currently right now are receiving a pavilion, and those are for big festivals. You'll be able to use them for civic events. So this is currently the first phase of this project. Like I said, it's up to $3 million now. It will include sculptures all around the city. We're trying to do an industrial bike trail, pedestrian walk. And what it is that you would start from our northernmost park, from Marktown all the way to MacArthur Golf Course, Todd Park, Veterans, Kosciuszko, on to Goodman, Riley, heading towards Washington, Callahan, Nunez, and then the lakefront. And what it is it's going to have artistically inspired sculptures made out of metal, donated by Sims Metal Management here in the city. So they will be donating rail cars that we will cut and weld. And it's going to be a historical timeline of the city. So from its inception on to when you get to the lakefront, it's going to be present on progress of the city. So it's going to be a really good initiative. It's one that there isn't something like that anywhere in the region. I'm already been getting calls from places in Hammond, you know, your Lake Station, all the neighboring cities saying, where did we get that fitness equipment, for example? We're the first ones, we're the pioneers for that here in the area here. So that's definitely an applause that we took that step and we're more progressive. As you notice, the playground equipment used to have mulch, and we still have mulch on the swing area, but if you ever step on that actual play area, it's actually very soft. It's a spongy material made out of recycled rubber from your tires that you dispose of. What that does is it's more secure for your kids if they fall, if they trip, or whatever that may be. It protects them more than that mulch. So aside from that, the basketball courts are all being redone. As you can see, there's a fresh coat of paint on here at the basketball courts. We actually added another court because there was a demand to add more courts here. As I said, the mayor wanted, the question that we wanted answered was, how do we get complete families to go into the parks? Because at the time, the only people that were using the parks were typically kids, little kids, and using the subpar playground equipment that we had. So all this stuff is state of the art. It's new. The concepts are new. This is something that Chicago is doing. Your, south suburbs are doing. It's definitely something that is worthwhile. I have had various amount of people express how good the parks are now and the way they look. It was a thought process when we came up with the design to say, we want the parent to take the kid to the playground equipment and enjoy themselves, but we want that kid when he gets home to knock out, to fall asleep because he's that tired. That equipment is made for that. Your kids don't know that they're actually doing exercise, but that equipment is actually made for them to work most of their core muscles, even to get up on the slide without them knowing they're actually working hard to get to the slide. So it's, again, this whole project is a blessing. I'm glad that the city has the money and the capital to do it. Aside from that, the 8 parks that are receiving the improvements are citywide, each in each district. Again, this is the first phase. So we have Todd Park, Washington Park, Kosciuszko Park, Sunnyside, Riley, Roxana, Nunez, and Callahan. This is the first phase, like I said. There's definitely going to be more improvements within 5 years. There's a 5-year park plan that if you ever want to look at what those improvements are going to look like, you can easily access that. Just ask the park department and they will easily give that to you. All we're doing now is we're taking that plan, and typically this has happened a lot in the city where there's just plans and plans and plans and nothing gets done. This is getting done, and you can see it. You can feel it, you can touch it, and to see the kids smile on a day-to-day basis makes, to me, what he tapped me to do all worth it. So if you have any questions, I'll be in my little cubicle area if you have any questions in regards to the park improvements. Thank you.
Thank you, Roberto. And I'll just do a little add-on just to encourage everybody, even as adults, just go by a park. You know, we talk about a lot of things, and even the fellas, we talk about sports a lot, but we need to talk about just being heart healthy, whether it's a walk, and if you just walk past some of this exercise equipment, it's very low impact exercise equipment, but just go to the park, not with the intention, I'm going to work out even, or just go by a park and try it out. You'll feel good about yourself, and I encourage everybody, just on a personal note, heart healthy, getting ourselves together, we all can stand to do some of that. Thank you. You can clap for that, that's a good. Okay. And next we're going to have something, and this again is pretty important, near and dear to us. And I'm not sure who's going to come. There may be a couple folks come up, but from our sanitary district, Greg Crawley, and Greg is over here, and he may bring up a few of his colleagues as well. But let's turn the front over to Greg about some of the programs that we're doing over there.
Good evening. My name is Greg Crowley, and I'm the Utilities Director for the City of East Chicago. And if you're not familiar with the Utilities Department and what the responsibilities are, the Utilities Department is responsible for providing you the fresh, clean drinking water that you use every day, in addition to the sanitary sewer services to take the collections from the waste stream. What I wanted to share with you tonight, though, is really what are the areas that can really provide an impact to really help you as the residents for the City of East Chicago. One of the areas that I know has been an issue of kind of long-term impact has been really one with regards to sewer backups and flooding in residential homes. I understand what that impact is. I really didn't realize what the impact was until this month. I experienced it in my own home. So I have an appreciation for what that's like and what that experience is. It's not a pleasant feeling to wake up in the morning and to go down and walk into a couple inches of water in your basement. So I'm talking from the heart. I know what it's like. What the city has in place is a program called a 50/50 check valve reimbursement program. That's in place to help residents to address that specific issue. I've talked to a number of residents really since the beginning of the year, and they've communicated their concerns about having to address that issue with flooding and other similar concerns. And so the city actually has a program in place to address that specific issue. With the 50/50 check valve program, the reimbursement program, in essence, what the city is doing is encouraging residents to work with a local licensed plumber to install a check valve. And essentially what that is a valve that really operates in one direction. Flow can go out of your home in terms of the waste, but it won't come back in. There's a flap that prevents it from returning. And when you have that check valve installed, essentially it prevents any of that sewage from backing up back into your basement and allows that flow to flow in the proper direction out of your home. And the program is set up in essence to reimburse you with that cost. So it's a shared expense on the part of the city to help you accomplish your goal to keep your home free of the waste and the flooding concerns. And so I would strongly encourage you to participate and take advantage of that program. Since we've started the outreach with residents and informed them about this program, we've had a number of residents take advantage of it. The impact's been very positive. We've received several letters commenting about the staff and what this impact has made on their home and in their lifestyle in general. And certainly we encourage you to meet with us afterwards and we can share more information about that program. In addition, there are other things that you can do as a resident that can help address these concerns. One of the things that we've done internally is, in addition to sanitary waste, we have a stormwater division. And their focus is on making sure stormwater is actually diverted properly. So that in the city of East Chicago, we have several different types of sanitary collections. We have combined sewer system and we have dedicated stormwater. Most of the system is still combined sewer. So what that means is when we see a storm event and it's significant, a lot of that rainwater makes its way into the sanitary sewer system. And if it's of a significant nature, it can overwhelm the system. And that's what in part can lead to some of the flooding events that you see on the streets and in your homes. What the stormwater department seeks to do is to really help to manage and divert that stormwater flow so we don't have the issues that we've had. And so what they've done since the spring of this year is really taken a grassroots approach to go door to door, talk to residents, help them understand what are some of the things that they could be doing to help address these concerns. One of the areas that we see that as a common issue is where we have a number of homes that have connected downspouts. And what we mean by that is when you have a downspout, you have a gutter system. And what that's designed to do is to collect and convey all that rainwater off your roof and bring it down to the ground level. But where should it go? Well, it should go back to the ground. You know, where it can either go back into your lawn or in some cases you can use something like a rain barrel to collect that water. But if you have a connected downspout, in essence what you're doing is bringing all that water off of your roof and sending it right into the sanitary system. And what does that do? Well, it creates those problems like we talked about, the sewage backups, the flooding concerns. And so certainly you can do your part to help to make sure that you're not contributing to this issue and can really help us. What we've done is we set a goal for this year. We set a goal. Our team went out and canvassed the city and we identified about 1,100 homes that had connected downspouts. And we said, let's put a realistic goal in place to get 25% of those homes disconnected. So to date, we've reached 80% of that goal. So our target was just shy of 300 homes. We have over 240 residents that are complying with our requests based on that outreach to date. And so if you in your home, if you have a connected downspout, or if you know some neighbors, friends, family members that maybe have these connected downspouts, why don't you contact them and make them aware that they could be helping out, the city by disconnecting those downspouts and helping to alleviate some of those concerns. I wanted to bring up Joe Wright. He is our collection systems technician, and I wanted him to share firsthand what his experience is like. Joe actually goes out into the community and actually speaks with the residents, and he performs inspections of the collection systems for sanitary sewer connections in residential homes, and it actually works with the residents to help them participate in this program. And he can tell you firsthand what the experience is like.
How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Joe Wright. I've been with the city for 23 years. I'm a sewer technician. Does anybody flood over here when it rains? Hands? Nobody? There goes one. Two. Hey, okay, here we go. This is the device, this is the check valve. This is what gets the ultimate basement to stop the water flow from coming back into your house. I see floods every day, even when it's not raining. We have sewer issues throughout the city to residential. And it's hard to look at. People go through a lot of stuff. So we're trying to provide, the 50-50 program to help with the burden of the sewer backup. This is the device that goes in. Water goes out, it can't come in. And I encourage, if people are flooding, this is what we need to do. This is what you need to get. Say if you hire a plumber of your choice, it costs $1,200. We're going to reimburse you up to $600, half of the cost. The max we pay is $750. We're working on different things trying to stop the flooding from occurring. Anybody has any questions after it's over, I explain all the details to you, all the information. Just let me know. Thank you.
Okay. All right, thanks. Okay, now we have, we're going to bring forth Weena Guzman to talk about demolitions. As most of you may know, we have these demolitions going on throughout the city, very relevant to this particular district, so try to tune in to some of the details of this particular program.
Thank you, Milton. Some of you may know me, but my name is Weena Guzman. I'm the building commissioner for the city's building department. I welcome everyone today, and I want to highlight the city's demolition program, which addresses blighted and unsafe structures throughout the city. We have identified over 760 properties as being blighted and abandoned. As such, the building department has implemented a 3-year demolition plan, identifying and targeting over 200 properties for demolition. Under the first phase, in 2013, the city, in conjunction with the redevelopment department, coordinated and demolished 27 properties throughout Main and Broadway. As you have seen, now the new buildings are highlighted throughout this area, which investment totaled over $1 million. The second phase of the demolition plan has been implemented, and a total of 28 properties are currently being demolished throughout the city, of which 11 are within the 5th district. Additionally, over 40 properties are scheduled for demolition within the next 2 to 3 months. These investments total over $1.5 million. The funding sources for these improvements come from the Unsafe Building Fund, which is a designated fund for expenses incurred pertaining to unsafe buildings, totaling over $400,000. So this year we had a little over $400,000 that we're using towards demolition. The RDA funding, which totals $4.1 million, and that is designated exclusively for demolition. The city was successful in a $1.3 million grant for elimination of blighted structures throughout the city by the Hardest Hit Elimination Blight Program. That's a state program, and we were awarded $1.3 million in May for the elimination of these blighted structures throughout the city. There are a total of 62 properties that will be targeted under this program, and which 11 are within the 5th district as well. So the timeline for the demolition, we should see some commencement within the next 2 months, starting with that. We have there's a limited time for us to demolish, so within 16 months we should be demolishing 62 properties under this program. And again, that's a $1.3 million project. We have posted, as you can see right here to my right, caution demolition, making room for progress. We have posted those signs throughout the city on the properties that we will be demolishing. So as you go throughout the city, you'll see these signs throughout. And we are putting more, and so you'll see a lot more, and there's a lot of demolition activity going on. We anticipate over 200 properties being demolished within the next 2 years. And the city is spending over $7 million just on demolition alone. The impact and effect in demolishing these unsafe structures will make our community safer. They will stabilize our neighborhoods and increase our property values. And just to note that the demolition of these structures, the land, once we demolish these structures, the land will be used as green space. In some cases where the properties belong to redevelopment of the city, we will be, it'll either be green space, or we'll look into side lot initiatives, or pocket parks, or community gardens. So those are things that we're looking at to do once we demolish these unsafe structures. Again, if you'd like to come see me after the meeting, I'm happy to talk to you about what's going on, what properties are being demolished. We have a listing of all the properties that are being demolished. There's over 200 on that list, and I specifically identified all the ones in the 5th district. So please, after the meeting, feel free to see me, discuss any concerns that you may have, or any properties that you have concerns with that we can help with those concerns. So you can see we are in the right below the building department sign. You see all the demolitions. You'll see over $500,000 being designated just for the 5th district. Thank you, and again, I'll be available.
Also, let me add to that, if you go to Main and Broadway, the 21st 100 and the 22nd 100 block of Broadway, this is what demolition does. Demolition gives you the opportunity to create and to redevelop. You are going to see 10,000 square feet of new retail that's getting ready to come through there now. We have just went through the RFP process, a request for proposals. We will be sifting through there. We will take the most creative plan that we have, and you'll be looking up to $5.5 million being put into retail in that area. We look to start at the tail end of this construction season. It's going to flow over into early spring of next year, then we will be completing it. But once again, this is what you can do when you go from a negative situation to a positive situation. This city is poised for explosive growth. This city is poised for explosive growth because we have to have good stewardship of the money, good stewardship. And not only that, the only thing this city lacks is political stability. Political stability. When we have that and people see that you're going to have in place faces that from the state level to the federal level that they're going to have to deal with administration over and over again, and they start seeing a futuristic plan, you can start projecting out 5 years, 10 years. Then you'll see the federal money start flowing down here. You'll see the matching dollars. They have programs out there literally. In the past, the city couldn't even take advantage of it. It simply went like this. If you put up 20%, we'll put up 80, meaning that if the city would have put a matching 200,000, we would have got 800,000, and we would have had $1 million to develop with. But the city was so strapped for cash and so top heavy, and the city was running so fat. But now that we done trimmed it up, we got those matching dollars. And that's why you're going to start seeing the federal highway programs and the infrastructure work being done. All I ask you for is your patience. And project, I tell people, when you look at the sign, our signs say, we are a city of hope and progress. So again, we will continue on with the program.
Okay, now we're going to bring up Kevin Klosik, who also has done something pretty unique with our website and a section on our website that, again, is relevant and related to our job process and our contract. And so, Kevin, why don't you come for your part of the presentation?
Thank you, Bill. My name is Kevin Klosik. I'm the System Administrator for the City of East Chicago. Before I start, I just wanted to thank everybody for taking time out of their busy schedule for coming out and taking an active role to see what's going on in your community, in your city. I, like all of you, I'm a lifelong resident of East Chicago. Don't hold it against me in the Harbor. I graduated class of '79 from East Chicago Roosevelt. And it's encouraging to see, people come out and take an interest in our community. So for that, commend you. What I'm going to talk to you about today is opportunity. We have a lot of construction going on in the city, as you've seen and heard. And our city council, a while back, put in effect an ordinance that states with construction projects, any development projects over $100,000, that contractor has to put out a certain amount of percent of local employment. And like any law or any ordinance, it's only as strong as enforcement. So this was put in place, it really wasn't looked at, but once all this construction came about, the administration felt that it was time to, with all these dollars, enforce what's on the books. So they, through the Human Rights Department, started looking at a lot of what these contractors were doing and enforcing the ordinance. And so what we put together, what we thought would be a good idea, is to put a website out there that anybody that works in the trades that's looking for opportunity to work on these types of projects, they're able to go out to eChicago.com, as you see on the screen, and on the right side, there's a place there to click to get into a workforce website, and which is right here. We're kind of at the mercy of our Wi-Fi in here, so if it's going a little slow, I apologize. But this website allows you, as a resident, or anybody you know that works in the trades, an opportunity to go to the site, to register as an individual, and upload your resume to this website. And in doing so, the contractors are obligated to also do the same and register, and to go out and see if there's anybody out there from the city of East Chicago who works in the trades who could be of value to this, to them in the project. And so, with that, is it not going on? Connie? She's gonna. Okay, go ahead and log in. So what Connie's going to do is she's going to log in and basically show the simple process of once you create your account, it will log you in automatically. And once you log in, you just go to a simple page to upload your resume. You select the trade that you want to upload your resume for, plumber, electrician, whatever that trade may be. And that resume then gets sent over, gets uploaded to the site, but before it's posted, it's reviewed by our human rights department to make sure that you're uploading something that's legitimate for the site. Once that's done, once that is complete, your resume is uploaded, you'll receive an email with the email address you register to that states you successfully uploaded your resume. And then when the contractors go in, they're simply able to log in, go to the respective category of what they're looking for, and look for applicants who are looking for work. It's my understanding that a lot of the unions that are there are willing to work with the contractors so that if there's somebody that's in the hall that is looking to get employment but they're down on the list, they're willing to work with them to move that person up in order to allow them to work on that city project. The other thing that's part of our homepage or city website is if you know of anybody who is looking to work in the trades that they haven't begun that path yet. There's a website called the Indiana Plan. And what the Indiana Plan does is it simply prepares you as an individual to start and seek your endeavor of working in the trades. And it's a plan that has been described and proven to be very effective with helping individuals set their way on that path. A couple other things I'll say about our website. If you do go out there, you know somebody that goes out there, it just, encourage, let them know that it's not a guarantee they're going to get a job. We felt it was an opportunity to put an avenue out there, to put someone, to have their name put out there, and hopefully be reviewed and selected by the contractors. I don't have the numbers, but Human Rights can tell you, as far as the trades go, it's been very responsive. And there are quite a few residents that have been hired by these contractors simply by reviewing the website and finding them there. It's not a website to upload resumes for city job opportunities. There's a link on the city website to which you can at any time email your resume for any of those positions to our Human Resources Department in Sandra Favela, and they will file those appropriately. But this website is it's geared towards employment opportunity in the trades and the construction projects within the city, not directly within any city positions. So what I want to do now is bring up Sandra, and she's going to talk a little bit about the success that they've had thus far with the Indiana Plan.
Hello, I'm Sandra Favela. I'm the Interim Director for the Department of Human Resources, and I'm very excited to announce that since we've had this website, for the residents to go ahead and apply. We've had good numbers come up to our way. I believe it was the beginning of May that we implemented this, and I'm happy to say that right now we have 7 East Chicago residents that are working in different companies and different trades. And one thing when we started this, Consuelo Gonzalez, the Human Rights Director that's sitting right over there, and I and the mayor got together and said, what do we need to do to get the word out to these Chicago residents? People are saying that they're lacking, they don't have the numbers to meet the ordinance. There's something that we're lacking. We need to get that information out. So we went ahead and did the Building Trade Expo, which was a great expo, had a lot of Chicago residents come out, even other cities. And from that, they got to meet different trades. Well, after that, some of my fellow colleagues behind me and I got together and said, okay, we got to do more. We got to get the word out. So we sat down and got this together, the website, and it's been a success. And I'm very happy to announce that. And I also have Ryan Shipp here. He's the area director of Indiana Plan, if you can just. He's here, and when we met the other day, Consuelo and I were very excited to hear that we got those numbers up. And we're still working hard. We're going to plan another expo. We'll get that information out by Facebook on the website. So take a look at that. Come to the expo. The information will be out, I guess, in a couple months. Regarding that, I encourage all of you to have people come out to this. Now, earlier I heard that some of our sister cities are looking at the city of East Chicago as an example of our parks. Well, the same thing is going on for this. They're looking at our website and this workforce connection, and they're saying, we want to do the same thing. So Michigan City called out to us again and talked to Consuelo and I, and they want to do the same. They just had an expo, had a good success about a month ago. They looked at us, they said, what did you do? And now they're getting people working in the trades. And we're going to have another city come out and talk to us to see how we did it. So good things are coming with this hope, with the building trades, and I encourage you to look out on the website for our next expo. Do you have anything to say, Brian? All right. Thank you.
Also, let me add that this summer, for our youth, we hired 129 of them for part-time work. We started off hiring, we was going to hire 113, and I thought
135.
No, when we first started off.
Yes.
It was going to be 113, 135 applied. I just thought it would be criminal if we had to turn some of them around. We dug down deep, we found the money, and we hired all 135 of them, and they have helped us put a dent in keeping the city clean. Secondly, we hired a permanent part-time workforce of 35 workers, and they're in a permanent state of part-time. And what we're finding is when we trim back, the city could not just hire. People used to look for the city as being the #1 hiring source. The city cannot do that. Since the tax caps, since the reduction in the taxation we get, the city had to reduce. When I came in as mayor, the general fund budget was $35 million. Now the general fund budget is $24.5 million. We cannot carry and look at ourselves as being the largest employer in the city. We could not. But we took this 35 part-time workforce, and this is what we did with it. We said that we would give you the opportunity to be able to come to work, and when somebody say, when the last time you worked? The person said, I got a job now, it's part-time, but I'm looking for something better. Then they said, when the last time you passed a drug test? I passed a drug test to get this part-time work. Then we added one more layer to it. The other layer we added to it, we took that part-time workforce, and Brian can attest, we put it through the Indiana plan. And we told the part-time workers, that's a 2-week course, right? 3-week course, that we will pay. We will let the part-timers leave the part-time work with us, go through the Indiana plan. For that 3 weeks, we will pay them while they're going through that plan, And upon them successfully being completed, then the Indiana plan introduced them to the building trades. Out of that, we got what? Electrician?
3 electricians.
We got 3 electricians coming out of that. We are using our part-time workforce, giving them the opportunity to step up. No, the city cannot employ everybody, but we can be that conduit that give them the opportunity to have a work history, to have some pride in themselves because they bring in something temporarily to improve their condition. And it's just been a beautiful thing to see that transition of somebody going from a part-time worker to going into the building trades. And then when the contractors tell us they can't find nobody, we can say, look, just like a good baseball team, they got a farm system where they sit there, they train them on the fundamentals, and then they say, now you go to the big leagues. That's what we've been able to create here in the city of East Chicago. So can we overnight wave our hand and say, everybody's gonna be able to work on these construction projects, but the one thing these contractors ain't gonna be able to keep telling us is we don't have no people that's qualified.
I just want to add one more thing. Currently, there's a class going on. There's 9 students. Out of those 9 students, 6 of them are East Chicago residents. So we're moving forward.
Okay, I'm going to just keep us moving. Appreciate your patience, everyone sitting here listening. So right now, we're going to have Tia from housing come up and talk to us about some of the housing developments in this district.
Hi, my name is Tia Collier. I'm the Executive Director for East Chicago Housing Authority, and I also have my assistant Javier Chavez, which is the Director for Housing as well. Actually here in the 5th District, we're in the process of building with redevelopment and the city 12 new homes. There'll be duplexes on the corner here of Deodore. About 5 years ago, the city tore down 12 of public housing units. With those 12 units, they didn't get proper permission, so we've been battling back and forth, trying to get those developed all over again and trying to see what can happen. It's taken quite a few years to get this to actually happen, but what happened is every year that we don't have those 12 units replaced, we're losing funding. Not only do we lose funding, we lose other points when we get ready to go for our grants and things with the HUD itself. So between the East Chicago redevelopment and the mayor, they've come together and they sat down and spoke with HUD and myself, and we've asked them, please help us get our 12 units back. Those 12 units are supposed to have been on the books all along. You had no permission to do that, and we need to get those things corrected. So the mayor came along and he says, I'm tired of hearing you talk about these 12 units, Tia. So we're now going to start by the end of this year, and we're going to break ground probably no later than October for those 12 units. They will be mostly 2 and 3 bedrooms, and it will be new construction. So, and that's a great thing to East Chicago Housing Authority because most of our stock is over 40 years of age. We have problems right now just with one of our senior buildings. Actually, both senior buildings. We have a senior building, Nicosia and James Hunter building. Nicosia is probably worse than the Hunter building. And we're just trying to keep things mended together. But you have to look at the fact that housing doesn't have the means of income that we used to have. Every year, HUD takes money away from us. So we have a lot of shortcomings, and we don't have the money to keep the projects going like we should. I'm just very happy that we'll get these 12 back so we can get that assessed back on, and then we'll be able to apply for other grants. Thank you so much.
The area where the 12 new townhouses will be going up and also 2 single-family houses is right here. We will be completing out the block of Deodore. Cross right here, go a rock, you hit it right here from Nunez Park. If you see that block where they had the new townhouses and the 2 single-family, it was never completed. We're getting ready to finish out that block, and it's going to start at the end of this construction season. Not only that, I'm proud to announce that we have just sealed a deal with Millennium to revamp Lakeside. Lakeside, again, is a project that's probably 30, 35 years old. It's starting to be tattered and torn around the edges. And us, coupled along with Millennium, we're getting ready to put $35 million of reinvestment in Lakeside, and you're going to see these apartments upgraded, being bar none. I guarantee you, people will be lining up fighting them when we get through, but it's going to be $35 million of reinvestment in Lakeside also. And again, she said we got the aging housing stock, we got to turn it over, and with some of the future senior projects that we're going, when we're going to give them their own housing units, where they have, all I can say is just smaller versions of apartment, but they're going to look like houses, more so like the size of what we call the 29-2, what people affectionately call the Batman houses. But these are going to be more on a townhouse profile. But again, I'm telling you, this city is poised for greatness.
And I'm sorry, I forgot to also give you, I can't let this happen without me telling you. We also have a program which is called METRA. That's our 501c3 program. The previous ED, which was B. Martinez, she started before she retired, and I got the tail end of it, so now we're taking it and running with it. We're doing a home ownership program. So you'll start seeing properties that is more affordable. What we're going to do is we get those homes, we gut them out, and we help establish the community in the area. Redevelopment has helped us with 3 thus far, and after we get so much monies, then we have to keep that going ourselves. So start looking into public housing. Even if you live in public housing, you can apply for the FSS program. That means we can help you with Section 8 public housing and become a homeowner. The mayor asked us to say he doesn't want as many rental properties. He wants to see more home ownership. So with that being said, he said, let's start you off, and after this, you have to take it and run with it. So if you are interested in being a homeowner, and some of the properties will be affordable housing, and then we even started another program, which is the SHODO program. And you'll just start seeing different things. If you go on our website, we finally have a website at East Chicago Housing Authority. Go on our website. We look for contractors at various times. We look for rehabs. And then we're going to be showing you the programs, how you can come in and work with redevelopment as well as housing to start taking the classes so you can become a homeowner. Thank you so much.
And again, just to keep us moving, we're going to have the Director of Redevelopment, Maria Becerra.
Hello everybody, my name is Maria Becerra, and I'm the Executive Director for the Department of Redevelopment in the city, and I'm very fortunate to have the opportunity, as the Mayor said, to be part of the team. And it is with the team that we have in redevelopment, that we are reinvesting in your community. In the 5th District alone, we have over $2 million that's already been invested by acquisition, and rehab of homes that we can acquire, and they are at the point where they can be rehabbed. The biggest project that we are very proud of, and I'll have the Mayor speak on this, is that Carnegie, the old Carnegie Library is being refurbished, and if the Mayor would like to speak on that.
Again, this is a project that's happening in the 5th District as we speak. Old Carnegie Library, historical library. Some cities are fortunate to have one. We end up having 2 Carnegie libraries. If you go over on the East Chicago side, the Pastrick Library, they call it, that's also a Carnegie building. When I came in as mayor, the city had put $1.8 million in that building, but they had never finished it. And HUD came and told me, if you do not finish it on your watch, in the next 12 months, give me back my money. Give me back my $1.8 million. We dug in deep. We found an additional $1.2 million to add to the Carnegie program. Now it ended up being a $3 million project. But let me tell you why our blessing is going to come in. I don't know if any of you know Mr. Kendricks. They used to be up at the school. He just retired. And Mr. Kendricks has signed the dotted line that he's going to come and continue to bless our children with his knowledge and his talent. And that Carnegie Art Building is going to be a school of performing arts, where he will teach our kids to sing, dance, play music. The upper half will be a school of performing arts. The bottom half is going to be a children's museum, where we will feature the artwork of our children and profile it where people can come and see it. Not only that, On Main Street, we're getting ready to put in Unity Plaza. That'll be starting in 2 weeks. Right across from the old Fitzsimmons building, we're getting ready to put $650,000 in there. And we're going to make a Unity Plaza where you can go and sit down, and when we finish all of Main Street, people are going to get it. People are going to get it and say, beauty begets beauty. And when we finish with that plaza, then we're going to have performances that our children out of that performing arts, they're going to come in and perform with us there at the at the Unity Plaza. They're going to put on performances at Washington Park. That's why we're putting the pavilions up, so we can showcase the talent of our children all across the city. And we will be doing that, I'm going to call it, I ain't going to say a grand opening, I'm saying a blessing ceremony for the Carnegie in about 3 weeks. Right now, they're performing, getting their performances ready, so when we open it up to the public, they're going to be able to showcase their talent from day one. So, coming soon, in about 3 weeks at Carnegie Building. And you talking about beautiful, it's going to take your breath away when you go in there and see how it looks inside.
We have a couple of programs that we run through our department. One of the programs that we do have is the rehab program, and Mr. Alfonso Espinoza will speak on that. And we also have the home ownership program, and Nicholas Smith will be speaking on that.
Thank you, Maria. My name is Al Espinoza. I work for the Department of Redevelopment, and I oversee a program called the Residential Repair Program. And under that program, we have 4 components. We have the regular rehab, emergency rehab, the ramp program, and the exterior renovation program. And these are all programs that help you fix up your homes. And we just ask you to come in, call our office, get an application, get on our list, so that we have an opportunity to help you fix up your homes. Under the regular rehab program, these are all federally funded programs, so there are some income guidelines that go with the programs, and there's one particular program that has a little bit of leeway in it. But the regular rehab program is a citywide program, so it reaches every end of the city. It'll help you fix up your home, roofs, windows, doors, interior work, fix up your bathrooms and kitchens, and things like that. The ramp program is specifically just for that. It's a ramp program to help somebody that has a need for a handicap ramp. And the emergency is for when, in the wintertime, if your heat goes out, your furnace goes out, you give us a call, we can help you get a new furnace. Or if your roof is really ready to collapse, we can help you fix up your roof. In the exterior renovation program, that's just strictly what that is, only exterior renovation. But that program is geared towards a certain area of the city, which is the greater North Harbor area. The Department of Redevelopment applied to HUD for a strategy called the NRSA, the Neighborhood Revitalization Strategy Area. And that allowed us to create this program specifically for the greater North Harbor area. And it allows us to also help some over-income residents through a percentage scale. So those are some of the programs we have for you. I'll be here after the meeting. We have a table sitting on the back. Come talk to us. You can call our office at 391-8513. Again, my name is Al Espinoza. Coming up next.
What we did is there's over $500,000 that we've dedicated with our new funds that we've received, so there will be $500,000 available for this program. And this is going to be most of the concentrated money that we're getting from the federal program will be for the rehab. And want to introduce next?
Coming up next is Nicholas Smith. He runs the home buyers program for the Department of Redevelopment.
Good evening. My name is Nicholas Smith. I'm the Compliance Administrator for the East Chicago Department of Redevelopment. We also administer the home ownership incentive programs that the City of East Chicago has to offer. Right now, if you purchase any existing home in the City of East Chicago, single-family home, you can receive up to $10,000 in down payment assistance. With that assistance, we ask that you stay in the home for 5 years. So as long as you stay in the home for 5 years, you do not have to pay any of those funds back. And for if you purchase any new home in the city of East Chicago, and that's a new home that the city has built or a new home that you build on your own, you can actually receive $25,000 in down payment assistance toward the purchase of that home. With that assistance, you have to stay in the home for 10 years. As long as you stay in the home for 10 years, you would not have to pay any of those funds back. City employees are actually eligible to receive an added incentive. For city employees that are purchasing existing homes in the city of East Chicago, they can actually receive $15,000 in down payment assistance. And for city employees purchasing new homes, they can actually receive $30,000 in down payment assistance. The same occupancy requirements stay for existing homes 5 years and for the new homes 10 years. In 2013, our department was able to actually help over 40 households with down payment assistance in the city of East Chicago. That equated to over $500,000 in investment in the homeownership program. And that's nothing really to sneeze at. That's a big investment, and that shows you how important homeownership is to our mayor and to the city. If you ride down Columbus Drive, you can see the 6 new homes that were built in Washington Square. 2 of those homes are still available. And we've also built a brand new home at 3832 Cary Street, which is a home that we showcased last month in June for Home Ownership Month. Again, you can get those homes and get $25,000 in down payment assistance to purchase a brand new home. That's something that you really can't find anywhere else. There are no first-time home buyer restrictions. There are no income restrictions. We just want to encourage individuals that want to be homeowners. We want to help give you that hand up. And if you have any questions about the home ownership program, please feel free to contact me at the office 391-8513, or I'll be here at the end of the presentation as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. Okay, our last presenter for the day, and I know we've given everyone a lot of information, will be our police chief, Chief Bell. Thank you and good evening. It's great to be here. I spent the morning with many of my associates looking through 538 pages of a proposed rules and regulation change for our police department. It was an exciting morning, followed only by my meeting with the budget committee from the city council, trying to convince them to take money from these people's organizations and put them into mine. So I'm glad to be here tonight. It's really the best part of my job when I get to come out and talk to the public and let you know about what's happening with the East Chicago Police Department. It is an exciting time. It's a challenging time, but it is an exciting time. I spent the first 32 years of my life working for the FBI. I worked in Wisconsin. I was transferred to New York City. I went to Washington, D.C. I went to Kentucky. I ended up here several years ago, actually back in 1987. I'm used to challenges. I enjoy challenges. And when I met with the mayor some 2.5 years ago and we discussed the possibility of continuing my law enforcement career in East Chicago, we spoke about the challenges that this city faced. And I can tell you that while we don't sit back and gloat in our victories, because there have been many, we can constantly strive to keep up the hard, aggressive work that the men and women of our police department have undertaken. Shortly after arriving here in 2012, the FBI issued what they call their Uniform Crime Reports. It's a series of 7 or 8 crimes that cities throughout the country report to the FBI on an annual basis. In 2011, the year before I came to the city, there were so many crimes that the newspaper labeled East Chicago on a per capita basis of crime the most dangerous city in Northwest Indiana. The mayor was right, there were some challenges, and that was unacceptable. We had to change that, truly had to change that. Looking at the crime rate from 2011 and now looking at what we've done in 2013, we have lowered our crime rate 11%. As a matter of fact, I invite you after the gathering to step up here and look at some of our displays. You will find that in 2013, our crimes that we reported to the FBI were the lowest totals that this city has reported since 1995. Think of that, 1995. And I'd love to sit here and tell you I did it, but I didn't. I was part of a team. We've got Wanda here from the Mayor Commission. Henry was here from the Mayor Commission. People working hard to hire the best police officers we can. Caesar and Monica in the back, 2 of our new reserve officers who have come on board. We've got members of my staff here who work day in and day out trying to think outside the box to bring better law enforcement, better public safety to the community. And I'm going to tell you, it is working. It is working very well. When I spoke with the mayor, I said one thing that we have to do is get police out in the public. Let you see us working. Let you see that we're out there watching for your safety. There's a beautiful little sign here, Latanya Hicks and Steve Segura put together for us. Going out tonight, so are we. 10,600 traffic stops. Last year, that's how many times we pulled the vehicle over. We didn't necessarily give a ticket, but we wanted people to see red and blue lights in the city of East Chicago. That is up from 185% of the stops we had made the year previous. So there's really no wonder that our crime that we reported the year we made all those traffic stops has been reduced to the lowest numbers that this city has probably ever reported. I can't find the statistics going back prior to 1995, but certainly for the last 18, 19 years, that's the lowest number we've ever reported for this city. We've rewound the clock when it comes to crime in the city. Now I said it's a challenge. We just released our crime stats for the first 6 months of this year and compared it to the first 6 months of last year. Unfortunately, we experienced 31 more violent crimes in this first 6 months than we did last 6 months. On the bright side, we also experienced 184 less property crimes for those 6 months. So our crime that we reported to the FBI compared to the last 6 months of first 6 months of 2013 is down 18%. Now think about that. I just told you that last year was a record year. It was a record year for crime in this city, the lowest in nearly 20 years, and already in the 6 months we're reducing that number by another 18%. Continuing education for our officers, making them be professional, making them treat you like we would want to be treated if a member of our family were in your position. Professionalism, standards, accountability, making people do what's right all the time, not just when people are watching, but all of the time. Technology, shot spotter technology. A gunshot is fired in this city within 60 seconds. Every officer working the beat, it lights up on his computer with a red dot and says, right here, someone's shooting a gun within 25 meters. Think of that. Within 60 seconds, officers are going to that scene. Strategic partnerships. We partner with the FBI, DEA, ATF. We've partnered with Indiana University Northwest with Dr. Ferrandino and his group to help us not only total what the crime is, but make sense of the crime. Being able to do some predictive policing. Where is the next shooting likely to occur? Where is the next gunshot victim likely to take place based upon what has been happening all week long? And then deploying those people to those scenes. From 2008 through 2010, this city experienced 41 murders. It's a good number for a city this size. Good in that it's significant, not good in that it's good. 41 murders. In the last 3 years, that rate has been cut in half to 20. Is 20 a good number? It's not enough. We want to reduce it more, but you have reduced violent crime in terms of murders by 50% in the last 3 years compared to from 2008 to 2010. Things are changing. They're not going to change overnight, but they are changing. These men and women in this police department are committed to public safety. They work hard day in and day out. Are we perfect? No, we're not perfect. But we're trying. And this type of event is so important for us because we're going to be over here after we're done here. And I invite you to come up and talk to us. Tell us what your concerns are. Tell us what you don't like about the police department. I don't need to hear what you like about the police department. Tell me what you don't like about the police department. Tell me what you think the crime is in the 5th district here. What is your crime? From April, 3 months forward, you had 1,094 incidents. That means the police responded to something almost 1,100 times from April, May, and June. How many of those were violent? 7.2%. Only 80 of those incidents were of what we refer to as a serious nature. And more impressively, over 39% of those incidents were initiated by our police officers. We saw something we didn't like. We saw a car speeding. We saw a car running a traffic light. We saw a group of people that maybe we needed to check out. That's nearly 400 times our officers took the initiative to do something to keep the 5th district safe. So again, I'm not going to take a lot of time. You've been very patient all night here. We will be over here if you want some statistics, you want some crime data, or you just want to bend our ear. That's what we're here for, okay? Thank you very much. Okay, real quick, Steve from Multimedia, a few upcoming events. He want to be 30 seconds, Steve, and just give these couple of them.
I figured while I had the opportunity of having all you beautiful people in the house, I'd give you a couple great events that are coming our way. Tuesday, August 5th is our National Night Out Against Crime. It's a great family event for everyone to go to Washington Park at the pool. They have tons of things for activities throughout the night. It's sponsored by the sheriff, our police department, our fire department, our park department, our mayor, the foundations of East Chicago, and it'll be a great night. Don't forget to be there. It starts at 3 p.m. and finishes at 8 p.m. The Taste of East Chicago is August 15th, 16th, and 17th. It's a wonderful time. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 great bands, a car show, a bike show. Don't forget to invite the family. On that same day, we're having the citywide rummage sale at 444 Railroad Avenue. That's our building, the City Hall Annex, in the parking lot in the back. If you want to join, you can call my office, 219-391-8206, and I'll give you more information. It's sponsored by Neighborhoods Inc. And also across the street in the lot, they have the solid waste, household hazardous waste day. So if you have old paint, old chemicals in the house you want to dispose of, you can dispose of them free right there across the street. So there's going to be tons of activity on August 16th.
Let me go ahead and close this, and then we're going to open up, take a few questions. You can't make this up, folks. There's two things in life, either fantasy or reality. The things coming to you is reality. And it's the reality of hard work by the staff here, of being a good fiscal steward of your money. I tell people, I was born here. All 59 of my years have been in the city of East Chicago. I tell people I love this city with all of my heart, my soul, my kidney, my pancreas, everything you see in me. This is the city of East Chicago. And I know this city is poised for greatness. So you've been very patient. We're going to field a few questions, then I'm going to tell all the department heads to go back to their stations, and we're going to honor that we said 7 o'clock, and then we'll go from there. Some of your questions may be private in nature, and that's why you can interact with them at their respective booths, okay? But again, love you from the bottom of my heart, and thank you for coming out tonight.
Remember, everybody, Olga, for the people that came in late, can you raise your hand again? Olga will be able to take some things. Okay, and just because I know there are a lot of people here, we want to be fair to everyone, we're going to cut off at 7 o'clock with the questions, because we really don't have a fair opportunity for everybody to ask a question, but we will be able to get your individual questions asked at the stations. And if you don't hear from those stations, I'll just speak and say, on behalf, just, call the mayors up and say, hey, I talked to this person at town hall, I didn't get adequate response, and definitely it will be addressed within that very same day. 391-8200. So when you go around,
me when they don't do their job, okay?
Right. So when they go around, if you have something, you give it to the person. But if you don't get a response or satisfaction in very quick order, circle back 219-391-8200, and your issue will be addressed. So we're going to just take a couple of questions here, very, very briefly.
Thank you, everybody. There was a great presentation from everybody. I want to thank everybody. I totally agree with that roundabout on Klein and Columbus Drive, but that other one on Riley and Dickey, they haven't convinced me on that. One of the other things I want to bring up is something I came up with the last couple of meetings, this crime statistics. To me, it's not being truthfully portrayed. In that first quarter, it was 7 rapes. Nothing been reported. I'd like to know in the next 3 months how many rapes has happened in the city. And I say that because post office have one carrier mugged, beat up. Next week they're putting a flyer out. They're notifying the public they got a reward for this out. But I don't think some of them numbers are being really truthful, couple of weeks ago, we had, unfortunately, we had 2 or 3 murders. Another thing, I just want to know why the gangs in narcotics, there's no more gang in narcotics units when most of our youth, that's how they're killing each other because of these gangs and narcotics.
Okay. Okay, I think that maybe they can speak to this. Well, you've asked a couple of great questions. First of all, we have had, we just did the press release July 21st, so as to rapes in the city reported for the first 6 months were 6. The gang and narcotics unit underwent a change, and sometimes you have to think outside the box, because if you keep doing the same thing over and over again and you're hoping for something different in terms of results, that's a definition of insanity. You can't do the same thing. We were not effectively dealing with the gangs and the drugs with the 4 members we had on our gang and narcotic unit, 5 with the sergeant. It wasn't enough. So we established a region stop team. We obtained 4 additional members from the Gary Police Department, the Hammond Police Department, another member, and the Lake County Sheriff's Department, another full-time member. So we went from 4 to 10. And we obtained part-time membership from cities like Highland, St. John, Dyer, Munster, IUN, Whiting, who came on board and said, we'll help you with the issues as long as you help us. It was a regional approach. So we don't call them gang and narcotics, but I guarantee you that the stop team has issued more search warrants in the last 12 months than the gang and narcotics ever did, because they have more people. They've got 10 to 12 people a day working in East Chicago, Gary and Hammond and so forth to deal with that. Much more effective, much more effective. Thank you. Next question.
Sarah. Hello, my name is Catherine Thomas. I live here in the 5th District. I like most of the plans this summer, especially for the kids, because the kids are our future here in this city. And if there's something for the kids, there's all of these plans are doomed. My concern is that we have a lot of non-traditional homeless people, and I would like to get more answer from the Housing Authority. What are we putting in place for our homeless folks? Those who don't have jobs, those who have mental illness. Because I get phone calls on a regular basis of East Chicago, we're about the only city that has no plan for our homeless. So those are some things that I would like to see put in place. You know, some programs, something to help our homeless folks.
Thank you for that question.
Okay, and that is a good point. I don't know if that's an answer that we can give in short order. Mayor, address it.
I can give you a short order. Mrs. Diana Kraft from We Care from the Heart, she's working with us as we speak to put a comprehensive homeless plan together. While we don't have a widespread homeless problem, one is one too many. And she has literally canvassed across all of East Chicago and showed us and identified the areas of concern. So we're doing that as we speak. So give us a little time, you'll see a comprehensive plan put together.
I sit on the COC, which is called Continuum of Care Committee, locally for the housing. And that is for what you need to send someone to that group to participate. Because I believe Nicholas participate there now, but you need more input in order to bring that money here to the city.
Well, you know what? You said money, you see both of my ears went like this. 391-8200, make an appointment, come and see me how to tap that honey well and see those tap.
And I'll also point out, make sure that Olga has that information too, so we can get proactive in reaching out to that group. Thank you, Ken. All right, next question.
Not so much a question as a comment. My name is Estelle Powell, and I've been almost like a life resident here in East Chicago, in this district. And I want to compliment the administration on the work they're doing, but I also like to invite the citizens and the residents, not just in our district, but to come out, and you can't do it without our support, our contribution, and our input. And I'm physically willing, wanting to help. I try to do as much as I can with the children, and I think that we just need more input just from the regular citizens and residents working here, volunteering, or whatever we can to promote all areas of this administration's efforts. And I really do think you are doing a great job in every aspect.
Thank you, Ms. Brown.
So, thank you again. I mean, compliments always feel good. Thank you. What I'm going to do right now, I want each and every one of the department heads to stand up. Any of the personal questions that you have, for them to answer, y'all return back to your stations, go to the respective stations, because sometimes people don't want to tell you how they feel about rehabilitation, this, they don't want you to hear their personal information or a personal concern that they have. Just go back to the stations and we will fill the rest of the next 15, 20 minutes in taking those questions. So again, our next town hall meeting is in what district? Emil. The next town hall meeting is in the 6th district next month.